Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Thursday webinar in the Hub. And this morning, I'm joined by the fantastic Katherine Reilly. She is an incredibly talented coursebook writer, and she's written lots of materials for young learners, lots of graded readers as well. So she knows what she's talking about with this idea of inspiring young writers. She's also a teacher and a teacher trainer. And so if you ever get the chance to see her live in a conference, definitely take that opportunity. Okay, so I'm going to hand over to Katherine to help us inspire our young writers.
Thank you, Teresa. It's such a pleasure to be with you all here today. It's an honor to be able to present this wonderful little presentation I have. It's how to inspire young writers. And I hope that a lot of this information and advice will help you with your students in class. Okay, so without taking up much of your time, I think it would be a good idea to get things rolling. And of course, thank you for the wonderful introduction. I appreciate it, Teresa. Okay, so without further ado, let's get things rolling. Okay, and here we go. Can you see my presentation? Okay, all right. Teresa, can you hear me?
Yep, perfect.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Let's get things rolling. Okay, guys. So as I just said, we're going to be talking about inspiring young writers. As an author, I love the part of teaching that has to do with writing, having them, work on little sentences and their creative little minds, trying to produce their first, words and meanings in English is something that we all aspire to. Now, let's start off by talking about the basic language skills. Now, of course, we're all educators, we know them. There are 4 basic language skills. We have listening and writing, and we also have writing and speaking. Now, what are the differences between these? Well, as you all know, receptive skills are considered the ones that have to do with listening and reading. The productive ones that go hand in hand are writing and speaking. And you'll see how we are going to use speaking to produce writing. Okay. All right, now let's move along. A lot of times we ask ourselves, why is writing avoided? Well, is it too demanding for young learners? Well, that's what we think sometimes. We're afraid of letting our kids, try out. Does it take up a lot of our time? Well, look, I'll be honest. A lot of us work, for employers, the principals of schools who demand that we finish, the syllabus, to finish the books by the end of the year because the parents are paying for them. So do we actually have that extra time left in class to dedicate to writing? I know it's kind of difficult, but yes, we can do it. And sometimes, okay, we are afraid of having our students make mistakes because when the time comes to post, their essays, there are little projects on the walls for the parents to see. And sometimes there are many mistakes that we don't want them to notice. So we sometimes avoid it, which is a mistake. And yes, we're teachers. Sometimes we feel so sorry for our kids and we end up guiding them all the way. Sometimes they ask them, teacher, how am I going to say this? And we actually explain to the kid the whole sentence in the end. And they deliver us this perfect essay, this written form, which is actually something that we showed them. Okay, now, what are we doing wrong? First of all, there's no critical thinking. We want our kids to start thinking for themselves. We don't want to offer them, all of this information without having them, ponder on what they are writing. Secondly, are we motivating them to have fun? I mean, attending school and lessons is all about having fun. If they're doing something by force, if they are obliged to do it, they won't do it with all their heart. And that's a huge issue. And of course, all of these mistaken, preconceived notions means that we don't trust our kids. And that's a huge mistake. And you know what? Kids understand everything. They will recognize the fact that, okay, my teacher doesn't trust me. Why should I trust my teacher? Why should I make an extra effort? So in today's presentation, we will look into ways of inspiring them and building upon this trust. Now, what should we focus on? How about activities and games which will instill entertainment and stimulate imagination? Because this is what we want. We want to cater and foster their imagination, help them grow mentally. And of course, we are interested in progress, not refinement. Now, I'm going to say something. If you're waiting for that perfect day, that perfect year, when you're going to say, my kids are ready to write an essay now, that's never going to happen. Only through continuous practice will they achieve perfection. Yes, the first essays, the first written parts of their language will be horrible. Yes, they'll have a lot of mistakes. And this is what we want to try to support them in. So we are going to focus on basic grammar and limited vocabulary. By building upon 2, 3 words and like 1 or 2 grammar expressions, then we can actually create something beautiful. Start writing. Don't wait for them to achieve the perfect command of the language. As I stated before, that's not going to happen right away. It's going to take a few years. Okay, now what kind of activities and games can I implement? Can they be used online? Because a lot of schools are still, conducting lessons online because of COVID. How can I keep my kids motivated and not lose control of the situation? Okay, these are all questions that we're going to answer right now. Just keep in mind that children are constantly processing information. They are learning and thinking. Okay, this is how everyone's mind works, but especially in the young learners. And they learn through social interaction, either passive learners or active learners in class. Now, this is where things are going to get really interested because we're going to start talking about ways of doing this. First of all, we're going to focus on collaboration with others, peers, and teachers, okay? Because we're always in favor of peer work. This exchange of ideas will help them, start structuring sentences in their minds. Let's get started. Now, I love this part. I really love this part. Let's choose a theme. Let's say that we have 7, 8-year-old children who are attending junior A classes, okay? They're really young. They don't know how to write yet. Let's choose a theme. It could be superheroes. It could be anything from animals, pets, hobbies. In this case, let's choose an elephant. Yes, you heard that correctly. We will choose a theme that has to do with an animal, in this case, an elephant. And this one is really cute. What language aspects are we focusing on? Okay, how about a few prepositions? On, in, for example. Tenses. They learned the present tenses. Present simple, present continuous. And what about vocabulary? Not that much. CVC words. Okay, 3-letter words. Now, is it a virtual class? Okay, if it's a virtual class, you can still do this session, okay? Because like it or not, we are living in, really strange times, and the lessons can be implemented online as well, okay? With flashcards, presentation files, we're used to it now. Okay, spark their imagination with prepositions. We're going to use on, under, in. We will use the prepositions with a theme noun. What is a theme noun? The elephant. First sentence, the elephant is in the kitchen. Okay, this is a simple example. The kids know the word elephant. They use the preposition in, and of course, one of the words that can be found, in their books, the kitchen. This might seem a bit difficult. How about something simpler? Let's have them draw it in humorous ways, or if it's online, download a picture. So I had my kids started drawing, an elephant in the kitchen. It was really fun. And it's amazing how they get creative, the trunk and everything and the tail. And that's where you can start helping them, develop some words. Or you can download a picture, especially if you have your whiteboard in class or if it's a webinar. So I found this picture online and everyone was laughing. They loved it and they were so inspired. So my kids started, drawing under the sentence, broken tables, chairs. It was funny. And they started having fun. This is what we want. We want our kids to have fun. Now, let's find another picture. I found this picture here. I'm like, let's see how they're going to explain this. So my students wrote, the elephant is on a tree. Okay, it's not 100% correct. It's not a mistake. But I was like, okay, let's expand upon this. We have the theme word elephant. They use the preposition on and tree. We know this isn't a tree exactly because it's been cut down, and it was a perfect opportunity to teach them something new. So first of all, I applauded the effort, okay, because they answered correctly. The elephant's on the tree. And then I decided to help improve their work. I explained the difference between a tree and a log. So they learned a new word, log, CVC word, consonant, vowel, consonant. Easy as that. And they understand the difference now because a log has been cut down from a tree. It's, lying on the ground and the elephant is sitting on it. Let's take it one step further. Combine speaking with writing. We said that speaking and writing are both productive skills. Let's see how they go together. And we can produce simple sentences for children of this age. What is the elephant doing? I asked my students. What is he doing? I'm stressing the ing, okay, because he's doing something now. It's present continuous. The elephant is sitting. Very good, because they know the word sit, and they actually practiced present continuous. The elephant is sitting. Where is the elephant sitting? We're using question words, okay? The elephant is sitting on the log. Wow, what did we just do? We used present continuous. Correctly, I might add, because most of them actually wrote it, double T. They used a preposition, on, and they used the new word that they learned, log, which is a CVC word. This is amazing. They built this little sentence on their own, okay, after some guidance. And this is what we want, critical thinking. Now, vocabulary is, of course, enriched thanks to their curiosity. I found this animated GIF, or GIF as some people call it. There are so many pictures online. They're so small and tiny, and they have animation in it. So this is a good idea to use for your kids and to work on things like present continuous. Now, a student wanted to write down the sentence, and the student asked me, how do we say move its tail? Okay, so this is a good opportunity to teach them one more CVC word. The elephant wags its tail. Okay, so I gave them the word wag, and I did this motion, so they understood that wag means it's moving its tail, and they wrote the sentence correctly, I might add. And I was like, guys, it's happening now. Look at the picture. The elephant is moving now, and the students correctly responded with, the elephant is wagging its tail. Students need visual interaction. They need visual interpretation. They can see it's happening now, so they understand that they have to use present continuous. And it's happening now with a new CVC word and the use of present continuous. Okay, never, ever underestimate the perceptive skills. So I'm going to talk about a mistake that I made in class. And thanks to this mistake, I will say that I also learned something. So I asked them to play a game with me. Okay, and I was like, come on, guys, describe the picture. So I found the dancing elephant. I'm like, they're going to use the word dance. They will definitely use the word dance. I was about to utter the word dance, but it's a good thing that I didn't. I was about to make a mistake. So the student typed, because this was online, the elephant is wearing a hat, which is correct. So it's a good thing to let your students develop their critical skills. Do not guide them all the way. You will be amazed by the results and how their perception works. Okay, of course, we also said, the elephant is dancing, but it was amazing that they thought of that. So the whole idea is to let them have fun, encourage them to draw or search for similar images. And of course, this stimulates further practice. Now, I found these two images, and I was like, okay, this is a good opportunity for kids to see the difference between ride a bike or drive a car. What did I just mention? Try not to urge them to do specific things. Let them develop their critical thinking. And I didn't discourage them. I played along. So one of my kids wrote, the elephant is riding a bike. Yay, good job, Timothy. And then another student said, the elephant is riding a car, which if you think about it, it's not a mistake because the car is tiny, it's under the legs, so it isn't 100% a mistake. However, I did explain afterwards that it's a difference between, riding a bike and driving a car. It's good to use, hand gestures to explain the difference, riding and driving. So let's move on. More pictures. We started, drawing. Other kids were downloading pictures. It was crazy. And we found, these pictures here. The elephant is playing basketball. I let them do this, completely on their own. The elephants are sitting at the table. I'm like, what are they drinking? Are they drinking tea? It's like, no, miss. They're not drinking tea. Elephants drink water. So this is what I've been talking about. Let them develop their critical thoughts. Let them be inspired. Let them do what they want. Let them express themselves. Okay, now, one of my students found this. I let it pass. Okay, what is he doing? Teacher, he's sitting on the toilet. Yes, it's correct. And everyone was laughing and we were having fun. And that's the whole purpose of having a lesson. And what have we been doing throughout this entire session? Present continuous. 1, 2, 3 prepositions and CVC words. and they've been writing sentences. Do not expect them to write a whole essay. They're 7, 8 years old, but they will write 1, 2, 3 sentences. And I think that's the most important of all. Okay, now, how about developing critical thought? I found this picture, and I can see the elephant, stepping on the woman. I had not seen the football in the background. I don't know if you can see it. It's not that clear of a picture, but my students did notice it. So at first I was like, where's the elephant? I thought he was at the beach. And some of my kids said he's at the beach, but others said he's at a football pitch. Okay, so what's going on in the picture? I asked them. And some kids said he's stepping on the woman. Other kids said that he was playing football, which is okay. Let them develop their thoughts. Now, what did we achieve on an educational level? We practiced new vocabulary, 2 new CVC words, practiced grammar structures. We worked on present continuous about something that is happening now in the picture. They developed their critical thinking because we let them develop the critical thinking. They expressed their thoughts. We had, a lot of fun, exchange of ideas, because something that one kid could have thought of is something that another wouldn't. And this is a good idea to exchange ideas during lesson. Now, on a personal level, it boosted their self-esteem. They're like, yes, I can write. So they'll go running to their parents at home, after lesson. Mom, Dad, I wrote my first essay, even though it's 1 or 2 lines, but they did write their first essay. It's something that they did, a written part of, the language. The desire to express themselves. They had fun today. They're going to definitely try to express themselves more the next time. They're going to be thinking of new ideas to add. Experimentation of these ideas. And of course, they will start trusting us because we trusted them to express themselves. And you know what? They will reciprocate. And in turn, they will love us and respect us. Now, how about more demanding tasks? Can we do it at this age? Is it feasible? Yes, it is feasible. Let's start off with some brainstorming. Offer them some words and phrases for integration in writing tasks. Now, how are we going to do this? Set goals regarding the number of details and ideas. To be more specific, let's do a writing about superheroes. Okay, so we chose our new theme, superheroes. And I'm like, come on, guys, give me some words that we learned. Jump. Okay, one of my students said. Another student said, fly. Great, we're going to use these words in our next writing. Lift. Okay, sorry, I gave them that one. They didn't know it, but it's a CVC word. And of course, one of my students used an expression, run fast. Okay, guys, we have these expressions and words. Use them in the writing. Talk about your favorite superhero. Okay, so one of my kids wrote, my superhero can run fast and lift cars. And I'm like, okay, thank you. And he's like, no, I have one more sentence. He can fly in the sky. I'm like, yes, they're using CVC words, 2 sentences. My kids did it using some words, 4 words that, I gave them. It is feasible, and you inspire them, and they create their own superheroes, and they start drawing these new superheroes that they thought of. All of this with 4 words that they wrote in 2 sentences. Now, let's move on to something more demanding. Proofreading. Oh, come on. These kids are only 7, 8 years old. Can they proofread? Well, I have to admit that we live in difficult times, meaning that society is very demanding. Okay. And we always have to double and triple check what we're doing. If you're working for a company that is very meticulous with their work, these are good habits that should be adopted at an early age. So kids should learn to process and evaluate what they have written. Have them go through the sentence again. Did you check your work? Please go through the sentence again. They should adopt functional professional habits that they will later on in life, start using. And of course, this will instill a sense of responsibility. Now, what about writing proposals in class? What are the best writing assignments that we can, offer our kids? Descriptions, yes. They can describe their favorite superhero, their favorite pet, an animal, their hobbies. Comics. I love comics. I grew up reading comics. That's why I became an author. And it's amazing what you can do with a 3-panel comic, 3 or 4 panels. Have them write the balloons, the thought balloons, and have them draw each panel. I love Snoopy. I love the Peanuts characters so much. So we have Snoopy in the first panel walking, and we have Sally, Charlie Brown's sister, saying, hey, there's a dog in the hall. And Snoopy, humorously says, where? So the funny thing is that we have there is, we have CVC words, dog, hall. We have a question word. So there's so many wonderful things that students can use in 3 little panels. Have them do this as homework. Have them develop their own comic, 1, 2, 3 characters with 2, 3 thought balloons. And this is writing. Now, sentence building with flashcards. You know, I'm an author, Teresa's an author. We work for, major publishers, and there's a reason why we produce so many flashcards. And it's a pity because I see many teachers who neglect to use them. Maybe they don't have much time, but trust me, you'll love this. Use a noun card, a verb card, and a noun card. Put them together. What sentence can you build upon this? The boy is playing basketball. Nice, huh? Let's have some fun. Try to substitute the word boy, the flashcard of boy, with an ant. The ant is playing basketball, so the kids will start laughing. Okay, there's so many wonderful combinations that you can do with the flashcards by, using verbs along with noun cards, and you can do wonderful things. And of course, this inspires kids. You can also do it as a game. Come on, guys, I'm showing you 3 flashcards on the board. Write your answer on the paper. Don't say it, don't speak it, write it down. And in this way, you can actually help them, produce the written capacity of the language. Now, postcards, collages, scrapbooks, presentations, these are really good ideas that you can use. These are some examples. My kids have tried to write, simple cards to my best friend. Okay, for example, or on Mother's Day, I love you, mommy. Something simple, even a sentence can make a huge difference in the self-esteem and the confidence and the inspiration of a child. Now, I found this online. I found it so funny. I wanted to share it with you. This is a postcard. Dear Dad, I hate camp. Come get me, please. My counselor is an alien and a vegetarian. Your loving son, Michael. The crazy thing is that in the middle, if you can notice, there's a worm. And it says here, I found a long worm in my bed. Ew, disgusting. But the thing is that the kid was so excited to share, this information with his father. He wrote a whole little letter on a postcard. This is amazing. And this is what we want. We want our kids to be inspired. We want them to desire the whole idea of writing. And this is a wonderful example. Now, what do teachers gain from all this? Does writing make our lives more difficult? We do diagnose flaws or weaknesses as regards structure, vocabulary, or spelling. I have to admit that there are some teachers that do not assign writing tasks that often, which is a mistake because the more writing tasks that you see, that you observe, you can actually pinpoint the mistakes and what they have been missing out from the lesson. You can diagnose, if they have, problems with grammar, vocabulary, or anything. Now, it enables creativity and personalization by offering the ability to students to express themselves. You can have them actually personalize what they have been learning in class in their own way. And writing acts as a catalyst for consolidating the key elements of the lesson. If you can please dedicate 3 or 4 minutes at the end of your lesson and have your kids write one sentence, just one sentence based on what they have learned all day, it will make a huge world of difference because we do require consolidation. Our jobs become easier, and this is what we want to gain from writing. Now, just a few final tips before we finish today's presentation. It's a good idea to provide visuals for stimulation. We all know, we are educators, we know that kids are inspired by sound, by images, and you should never stop producing these for your students because it will help them in various ways develop their writing skills. Try to choose engaging topics. Superheroes, pets, you name it. Ask them their favorite football player, things that they like. Assign group tasks. Remember what we said earlier? Maybe a student might think of an idea that another hasn't. Have them work in pairs. This exchange of ideas will help kids not only develop their own, characteristics and personality, it will, because, kids are like sponges. They absorb information and they will put all this good information to good use later on in life. Now, I love class presentations. It doesn't have to be a 20-minute presentation like this one. It could be something simple, a simple sentence. Just a sentence can be a presentation with a drawing. And after the kid reads, the sentence, everyone can start applauding in class. And you can see that smile on their faces. I wrote an essay, I did a presentation in class. It was 5 seconds, but it doesn't matter. And, this will boost, the kids' self-confidence. Now, there are some students that finish, way earlier than the others. For whatever reason, they might be really bright students or they might be fast students. Have some extra tests, and yes, have them examine the accuracy of the writing, have them proofread it again, because no one is perfect. No one is perfect, neither me nor you, anyone else. It's a good idea to have them, adopt these healthy habits. I hope that you liked today's presentation. I would like to thank Teresa and the TEFL Development Hub for everything, for their time. If you want, you can send me an email at katherinereilly1@yahoo.com. You can also visit my blog, katherinereilly.blog, and I have a lot of ELT articles online for you to enjoy. Thank you all for your time. It was a pleasure, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation.
Yeah, it was great. Like, when you were talking about using the pictures, I'm a huge fan of visualizations, guided visualizations.
Yeah.
I've found that with young learners, they're trickier to do. But yeah, this idea of starting with pictures, starting with drawing, so that they kind of produce their idea without worrying about the language first. That's
yes. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, and Silvina, she said, so many amazing pictures. Like, there are so many elephants doing things.
Yes, and it's just a simple theme. I mean, with one simple theme, you can actually find a plethora of material as regards, the theme. And it's nice because my students, would usually find their own pictures that I wouldn't have thought of ever. And I'm like, oh, we can use that too. And it's amazing what they can come up with.
Yeah, and then they feel more involved in the process as well.
Yes.
They're choosing the pictures and things. Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. One thing that I was thinking about when you were talking at the beginning about kind of guiding the students, I found sometimes that I thought it's a good idea to produce a model text, but then students just end up kind of copying exactly.
Yeah, I'm in favor of model text, but it has to do with the level and the age. For example, if we're talking about young learners at this age, it's okay not to use a model because you try to inspire them to use simple sentences with a subject, the verb, and the object. So you don't need much of a model, but as the levels progress, it would be a good idea to offer them models. However, we shouldn't fall in the trap of, giving them a prepared essay and they just have to substitute the nouns, and that's a mistake. But of course, we do need something to base off of. Yeah.
A couple of comments we've had. Claire says all of this is relevant to every age, and her business students, business adults will love some of the ideas. It's all about inspiration.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the lovely comments. Thank you.
And Silvina, she gave us a webinar a couple of weeks ago about business English materials and materials in general. So she says she's going to take these elements into account when making materials. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, so if anybody's watching on catch up and you have another question for Katherine, you can tag her or tag me in a comment, or as you saw, she shared her email as well. So thank you again so much for the session this morning, Katherine. And yeah, I think we're all going to go away and inspire our students to do some more writing.
Yes, we should. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much. And I hope that we can put everything to good use.
Excellent. Have a great day, everyone, and see you soon.
Goodbye, everyone.